Welcome to Jets Rewind and JetsRewind.com. This is Marty Shupak. I'm joined by Ray Clifford. I'm in Valley Cottage, New York. Ray is in Marysville, Ohio. We're recording this on Sunday, 28th of November, 4:30, about 30 minutes after the Jets just beat who did they beat? The Houston
Houston
Texans,
Texans.
21 to 4.
That memorable of a game.
Yeah, yeah. Ray, how you doing on this great victory?
I'll take it. A win's a win, and as much as I'd like a really high draft pick, I'd rather have a win.
Ray, I'm with you.
Now I'll just hope Seattle loses, and we can flip flop with them.
I'm with you. I just want to win football games. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't care about these.
Well, I care, but because we aren't going anywhere, but I don't care enough to give up a win.
Yeah. Let me give you my thoughts on the game, then you can. Then we'll dissect it a little. The game was won, in my mind, on the Jets defense. And especially John Franklin-Meyers had his best game of the year, which is really good because I've been on him, especially the last few weeks since he signed that contract. I thought he had disappeared, but he had this great tip and interception. It seems like whenever we have a tip and interception by a lineman or a linebacker, we end up winning the game. The last time it was Shaq Lawson against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So it was nice. And I thought the defense, I believe they had 5 sacks. They did a good job. I thought the secondary, even though Tyrod Taylor had made some nice passes, and Ray and I spoke about this all through the game. Bryce Hall could not have played any tougher on defense, and the ball just got to the man. He came through at the end in the clutch where it was an incomplete pass. But I thought that everyone on defense played well. The Jets were down 14-3, and then they shut down the Texans, and they scored like 18 unanswered points. This despite our field goal kicker, or maybe I should say ex-field goal kicker, because I have a feeling he'll be done on Monday. He missed another, I don't want to say chip shot, but he probably should have made it. And the play by the defense, it sort of really overshadowed what I consider some bad play by our quarterback, Zach Wilson. He made some plays, but and I don't want to really damper a good day for Jet fans, but I have my doubts as far as Zach Wilson becoming a reliable, a good NFL quarterback. I thought that it's pretty obvious that our best player on offense is Elijah Moore, and we have to do everything to have a quarterback that gets him the ball. And today, our best player on defense, I think, is John Franklin-Meyers. So all in all, it was a good win. I agree with Ray. Don't worry about the draft picks, whether we pick second or seventh. I really believe we have almost the same odds as getting a good player. It's a bit of a crapshoot. So Ray, what's your first reaction to the game?
Well, I thought the defense for a bit there, and I think it went hand in hand with Zach's first half. Oh my God, it was scary how inaccurate and just out of sync he was with everything in the first half up until the last drive. And we kept putting the defense back on the field after 3 plays or 4 plays. And I think that had something to do with it for a bit. But boy, in the second half, they were all over the place. And by the way, Quincy Williams had another good game too. He made a few big plays, big hits. He loves the big hit.
Right.
I don't know if he's covering as well, but he loves the big hit. I think Michael Carter was missed a bit, but Tevin Coleman looked good. What was it? Walter off the practice squad had
Austin
some nice
Walter,
runs.
who he's been around a while, but obviously Robert Saleh and Mike LaFleur knew him. He did 2 stints with the 49ers. I actually remember him. He was on the Giants for a cup of coffee when Barkley originally got hurt.
Yeah, I don't remember him on the Giants, but I once you mentioned it, I remembered him on the Niners, but so he contributed, and I thought Zach settled down in the second half and looked better. I mean, he's got a long way to go if he wants to be a solid NFL quarterback. But he'll for a while there he'll show signs of having the ability, but then he'll regress again. I mean, it was like when we were backed up towards the goal line, and I don't want to get down on LaFleur because it seems like when it isn't Zach in the game, he calls a good game, but it seems like he changes the way he calls play. Maybe it's just me, but it seems like he changes the way he calls plays with Zach in there. And I didn't like it in the first half how he was calling the plays, but Zach seemed to settle down. It seemed, I think I messaged you at the time. I said, maybe the guy almost ripping his head off settled him down, because it seemed like after that play, he played good for the most part the rest of the second half. But Elijah Moore, he's definitely the real deal, and I look for him to just be better and better as we go. And if Zach can start getting a connection with him going, that may save Zach's career too. Amendola missed one. He made 2 out of 3. He's got a great leg, but you got to make everything inside of 40. Got to make everything. Well, I guess the one he missed was 42, but he's got the leg to hit from 60 easy. But he just seems to be pulling it at a bad time. But and I think you saw that with the decision by Saleh to not kick and pulled everybody off and kept the drive going for a bit, and then had him kick it as we got closer and had another 4th down. But all in all, our defense was better. I think our defense, as long as you aren't getting them back on the field, 3 and out, and back on the field, I think our defense does fine. Some guys played better than they have in a couple weeks. And let's face it, the Texans are 2-8 for a reason too, but they were 2-8 without Tyrod Taylor for 6 games. So, and they lost all 6 of those games. So with him on the field, they're a lot better. I don't know what the final stats were, but when they took over the ball for that last possession, they had 25 yards in the second half. So our defense had them clamped down pretty good.
Yeah, Ray, our young secondary continues to play very well.
Very well.
I have a good feeling. Well, I take a lot of pride in this new safety, Elijah Riley, that they picked up from the Eagles, because he's a West Point grad and he went to, I think, Port Jefferson High School in Long Island. And just the fact that 3 weeks ago he was on their practice squad, and now he's starting safety for the NFL, even though it's the New York Jets, and he did have a good play. But the one thing I want to mention, I've noticed, like today, and the games that we win, even when the other team moves the ball, but I guess I'm talking about the 3 games we win, it's pretty obvious that our guys do a good job in wrapping the ball carrier and making tackles. If you notice today, there was very little yardage after contact.
Yeah.
There was some, but we're doing a good job. I mean, we have some sure tacklers on the team. I think Michael Carter too is a sure tackler. I think Bryce Hall is a sure tackler. Javelin Guidry made a really good play today also. So I think the one thing we could say about Robert Saleh, that he was correct, excuse me, is that he made it a point in the preseason to say that a lot of times these low draft picks or undrafted free agents, they don't get a shot because they don't get the repetitions. And he wants to give some of these guys the repetitions. Now, I'll just say that I don't think it has worked out the way he liked as far as these safeties being moved to linebackers. But as far as the secondary, you really can't complain. I mean, Pinnock had a bad slip today on the first touchdown pass. Who's the other guy that the undrafted? Who they picked on last week? Not Guidry.
Oh,
the guy from Oregon. No, begins with a D. Is it?
Dunn.
Dunn. Yeah, he played
Isaiah
today a
John.
little bit too. Last week they were picking on him.
Yeah.
So if this continues, it's trending well for the secondary. Excuse me, I'm fighting a cold. And Ray, you had mentioned Quincy Williams, and I was down on him. The reason I was down on him is because I had said that he gets drawn in and he gets sucked in a lot on the screens and the draws, and he overruns plays. But if you remember last week or 2 weeks ago, I said I even though I don't like him, I would play him because we're missing a guy with a burst,
Yeah.
and he has a burst. And last week he had like a total of like I think it was 15 tackles and assists together. He was terrific, and today he made some good plays.
Oh, he did.
Right, if he could control his body and maybe work on his pass coverage, they might have found something there, and I'm surprised that the Jaguars didn't have more patience with him for some reason.
Well, one thing I would say about him is that if he put more focus on when he's covering guys, he's got the speed to cover guys, but I think he loves making that big hit, and I think he plays for that big hit almost every time. What was the team? Was it Cincinnati when he probably could have intercepted a ball that would have ended the game,
Right.
but he wanted to make that hit, and he wasn't even focused on where the ball was. He was going to hit that guy, and either break up the pass or stop him right there, or whatever, knock it loose if he did catch it. But when he makes plays, everybody gets fired up. He really does. He's one of those guys that when he does make the play, it gets everybody kind of involved and going and fired up and playing hard. We had a couple series there in the first half when I thought, oh, here we go again with the defense. It's just going to be, on that series when was it Guidry, or did we say that? No, Pinnock, when he
Penix slipped.
stumbled
That's
and
the
then
first touchdown.
tripped over the blade of grass.
That
and
wasn't
the guy walked
the
by.
Cooks play. It was a play to
No, it was
Jordan.
Jordan
Jordan.
in the middle of the field. And he would have had him, and they would have had to do a field goal. But then they came back, and I think the next series they had the long pass that for like the 40 or 50 yarder for the touchdown from Taylor to I can't remember
Cooks.
the guy's name. Cooks, yeah. But was Cooks the one that caught that long touchdown?
He
I thought it
was.
somebody else.
And we spoke of, but Ray, this guy he's a heck of a good player.
Oh, he's really good. Yeah,
I mean,
he's been on several teams, and he's one of these guys who's plays for several teams, but every team he's on, he seems to make a difference. He seems to be a playmaker everywhere he's been. But he whatever it is, he doesn't seem to stick with one team.
I don't know what it is. I even remember he at New Orleans in the Rams.
Yeah, that was his first team, New Orleans.
He was good.
He was really good.
Yeah, and
then he went to I think the Rams, and he made plays with them. And then I don't know if he went from there to Houston or for another team, but yeah, he's always been a playmaker. Our defense, I'm fairly happy with. I think we could upgrade our linebackers. I'm not going to say that they aren't right about these guys, Nasruddin and them. They need a year to put on a little bit of weight. They need a year to be used to playing linebacker as opposed to safety. And next year they might look completely different than they do now, from having been in the system another year. So I'm not going to give up on that idea, but when you're making that transition, it's not an easy one. Sherwood, Nasruddin, and I think there was one other that we are trying to transition.
Right.
I think next year we'll find out if they're going to be able to handle that kind of a transition. Offensively, I mean, we missed Corey Davis a little, but I know with you, it was like, yeah, well, we missed a few drops, but other than that,
I'll take Keelan Cole any day over Corey Davis.
Elijah Moore seems to be getting better every game. I don't think Zach has much of a chemistry with a Crowder. I don't know. Did Crowder have anything today?
He had one catch for 5 yards today. It was
he doesn't seem to be as much a part of the offense with Zach in there. Barrios had some nice plays. So,
Arias had to play. If he had a little more
you know,
speed, he would have had a touchdown. They they have a fairly balanced team. They don't have a superstar. I guess Elijah Moore would be considered
he
the
will
closest
be.
thing to a superstar, and that's not on a full season, but these guys kind of complement each other. I just want to get to well, one thing I want to ask you, Ray. You touched upon it, and you had texted me that you thought that Mike LaFleur calls a completely different game when Zach Wilson's in there. Could you elaborate on that?
Well, to me, I mean, it seemed like right off the bat on the first series, and I know they want to use Zach's athleticism, but to me, if what was working with Mike White and Joe Flacco for our offense was effective, then I'm not saying don't use Zach's athleticism, but I think he's got the ability to play that way too. And it seemed like, well, on the first pass of the game, I thought, okay, we're going with the same stuff. He went on a short pass, he completed it. But then we got down by the goal line and he had him rolling out to the side. And I was like, when you roll him out to one side, that cuts the field in half, basically. And basically they just flooded that side with DBs and he had nothing to do but throw it away. And I thought that just kind of killed the drive. I thought we had a shot at, maybe getting a touchdown. You just run the ball down inside the 5. Why are we calling pass plays and rollouts and things? Let's go with what's working. Let's get it. And later in the game, they just ran it into the end zone. And I think we could have done that on the first one. Our offensive line is more geared towards running right now than passing. And they're definitely geared more towards a pocket passer like White or Flacco than they are towards somebody who's moving around. The zone blocking scheme, which is what I think they want to install for Zach, these guys aren't equipped for that. They seem to do better when the guy's in the pocket. They can protect him for a bit. Now, Zach looked really uncomfortable in the pocket too. I mean, his feet were moving all over the place. He couldn't hit a guy 5 yards away above the shoe tops there in the first half. He seemed to get better in the second half. He seemed to settle down. I don't know if the guy tearing his helmet off had anything to do with it, but that seemed to be the point where all of a sudden he started throwing the ball a little more on target. He wasn't perfect, but he was definitely, you could tell once they moved the ball and they could run too, that he had settled down. So, I don't know. I it's so up and down with him that I don't know what to think until I see a couple of consistent games out of him. I'm not sure what to believe.
I have my opinion, but I'm going to hold it to the next podcast just because I don't want to be a negative Nanny on a win, because the wins are far and few between. Yeah, so I don't think it's a time and place. The only thing I'll say is that I don't see him not just hitting guys short, but comfortable hitting them short with a touch pass. And some of the short passes he completes, like the one to Keelan Cole, was behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So I have concerns I don't want to get into. We'll try to do that later in the week on our next podcast. It was a good victory. I just want to go through some individual players. Zach Wilson was 14 for 24, 145 yards, 1 interception. The interception was ugly. It was kind of a shuffle pass to Johnson, Ty Johnson, who had no idea what was going on. He actually turned to block.
Yeah, and he should have run it.
Yeah, he should have run.
He should have run on that one.
And I'll be honest with you, when that happened, Ray, I said, "Oh my God, this guy, he's afraid of contact." But when he made his touchdown run, I reversed that. That he showed some grit on that, making the move too. That was a good play by Zach. Tevin Coleman had 16 carries for 67 yards. He was solid, Ray.
Yeah.
I love the way he hits the hole. Ty Johnson, 6 carries for 42 yards. It's our running game won the game. And Austin Walter, the newbie,
Yep.
9 carries, 38 yards, and he scored his first touchdown.
Yep.
So really, if you add it all up, let's see, 109, 147 yards between those guys. Oh, Elijah Moore had a run for 7 yards. So, we had over 100 yards rushing.
Zach ran the one in for how many yards?
Yeah, I think that was like 2 yards, I believe. Yeah. Barrios had 2 catches for 47 yards. There was 1 long catch. Elijah Moore, 4 catches for 46. There was one at the end where they called it a catch, but then it was overturned because it definitely hit the ground.
Yeah.
Keelan Cole is becoming, I love this guy. 2 catches, 24. Ryan Griffin, probably the slowest guy I ever saw in my life. 3 catches for 20. He made a catch, Ray. I think it was like 3rd and 8. Where he caught the ball. He turned around. He had like space in front of him, but all of a sudden they closed. He was so slow getting to the first down mark. Is it me, Ray, or does he seem he's very slow with the ball? Right.
He's not a speedster by any means, but he's the one in the back of the end zone. If Zach had, gotten the ball up a little higher, he probably would have caught it for a touchdown. He was the one cutting across the back of the end zone, and Zach threw it. Yeah, I mean, granted, he was throwing across his body when he rolled out, but if he'd have just had a little more on it and gotten it up about 2 or 3 feet off the ground, Griffin probably would have caught it in the back of the end zone.
Did you think that was catchable? Because I had a text from Rob August. He thought it was a catch.
It would have been a great catch, technically. I mean, do you want to go technically? Yeah, it was catchable. Reality, that was a tough catch because of where he put it. But
right.
I mean, he did get his hands on it, but that still would have been a really good catch. I mean, if he throws it a little higher, yeah, I would have said, yeah, he could have had it and should have had it.
Yeah. On defense, Quincy Williams had 4 tackles, 3 assists, and a sack, and a tackle for a loss. Ray, did he go out of the game in the second half?
I don't think so. I don't remember them talking about him going out of the game. I thought he was on the field.
Michael Carter, 4 tackles, 2 assists. CJ Mosley, Mr. Overrated, 3 tackles, 5 assists. I'm sorry. Ronald Blair was activated today, 3 tackles, 3 assists. The player of the game on defense, and maybe the whole game, John Franklin-Meyers, 3 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and a huge interception. Elijah Riley had 3 tackles, 2 assists, and a tackle for a loss. Bryce Hall, 3 tackles. Ashton Davis, 3 tackles. And Jared Davis, Ray, we made a comment to each other. 2 tackles. We had 1 really nice tackle.
Yeah.
And Quincy Williams had 2 tackles, 2 assists, and a sack. Javelin Guidry had a couple of tackles. Sheldon Rankins had a great tackle for a loss. He had 2 assists. Foley Falikasi had 1 tackle, 1 assist. But all in all, the defense was tremendous. Just think, Ray, we were down 14-3, and we end up winning the game 21-14.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying, Tyrod Taylor is not the second coming of Brett Favre or anything like that.
He looked more like Zach in the second half.
He did. He
was throwing very poorly.
Yeah, but I thought they did a great job. I like the fact, Ray, that I think it was, I don't know the exact yardage they needed, 4th and 4 maybe, and they were lining up for a field goal. And then at the last second,
Salah called the timeout.
Salah called a timeout, called them off the field, put the offense back on, and if I remember right, Zach, I don't know if he hit Crowder.
Wasn't that the
Griffin.
one to Elijah Moore?
Elijah Moore for a first down. Yeah, so that was a good call. The one thing that bothered you and me with Robert Saleh, again, it's a good day for Jet fans. They won, but we have to bring up some of the negatives. We had to call a timeout, and this is after there was a play where the opposing coach threw his red flag. They had to review it, and I think it was the Elijah Moore play?
Elijah Moore.
The Elijah Moore play, the catch that was overturned. And Ray, I don't understand what happens. They have 3 minutes.
Yeah, because the guy even put on a different headset so that he could talk with I don't know, the main headquarters there in the NFL
In New
about the
York.
review. Yeah, in New York. So it was an extra long review. They have them in, and before you know it, we got guys running back and forth trying to get in the right spot.
Right.
It was like, did you not practice this play during the week? Do you not know what you're running? Everybody's going the wrong way.
Ray and I are frustrated because we just think in the time that the NFL was looking to review that play, the Jets had plenty of time to formulate what play they were going to do, and everybody should know their positions. And what happened is after 3 minutes, they're lining up. Zach Wilson starts moving players from this side to the other side, and we end up calling timeout.
Yeah.
Ray, a play like that, and this is I know it's a bad dream, but what I always think of, and I always bring this up?
Rex.
No, the Jacksonville Patriots. When Jacksonville, they had a
in the
timeout playoff game. They come on, they run in the play clock down to 1 second. They get a playoff for a first down. The flag was thrown. It was a delay game. They didn't get the first down. The Patriots ended up winning the game. And they ended up going beating the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So that was
that
was a killer. But listen, we're going to close this out in a minute or two, but I just want to say that kudos to our defense. We have there's questions offensively, whether they could work it out with Zach. I'm not sure. We're going to talk about this more later in the week. Ray, what's your feelings moving forward? As far as Zach Wilson, are you still trending positive, or are you just keeping an open mind at this point?
Well, I mean, trending positive is kind of hard to say that because he hasn't looked that good for the most part. So, but I'm trying to stay positive as far as his future. I mean, we're going to have to see what, I want to see him. Okay. He had his moments in this game. He looked terrible at times, but then he played better. I want to see him go to another game and look good again, or look better than he did the week before. And look like he's growing. He doesn't seem to be growing. I think you're seeing the downfall of drafting somebody out of a smaller college, and BYU is a smaller college. It's the second level of big teams. They play, a decent competition, but they don't play elite competition. They play good competition. And so the kind of game he played there, there aren't many times you're going to see that work in the pros for long. We saw it briefly for Kansas City, but they're coming back to earth. Teams that can just wing it around the field and make these plays off the grid. That I think at some point the defense starts catching up with you, and I think that's the problem. Is that 2 years ago Zach might have been a wonder boy, but now defenses are kind of looking at these guys that make plays on the run and moving around. I think my real concern is Trevin Wesco going to play next week? Because
yeah, I'm sure it's a huge concern.
He limped off there. That I will say, I told you then that was going to kill me if he because he went down with 2 minutes and 1 second. If he'd have stayed down,
if they had to call a timeout, right?
Then Houston would have had like a full 2 minutes to get down the field. Basically,
I think Sal and LaFleur are probably screaming, "Get that off the field! We're not gonna burn a timeout. Now we have a chance to win this game."
I was never more relieved than to see them helping him hop off the field, and they started the clock up.
Hey Ray, something I want to bring up before we close out. What's a little bothersome to me, and we spoke about it briefly a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
The whole game experience, the way they're cherry picking some of the replays, I don't get it, and I don't know why they don't show more of the replays. And I noticed yesterday I spent most of the day watching college. They're starting to do it in college also. I noticed when who's the color man I like, the former quarterback, Gary Danielson?
He's one of them.
Yeah, when he's doing a game, I think he makes sure they show the replay. He's very good. But I'm finding in the replays, like in the NFL games, the Jet games, they're so into promoting another game the following week or on a
Or a
Thursday
TV
night
show
or
or 60
Sunday.
Minutes coming on later.
Yeah, the fan is like, or I should say, the true football fan is losing out on plays that should have been replayed. And there,
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes it seems like a big play, and you're like, you're like, well, I want to see that again. And they just keep yammering on, talking, and then on to the next play, and they never get to it. But I don't understand that either. It to me,
eh,
I mean, I don't need to replay every play, but if there's anything even remotely, you know, close about a play, I want to see the replay.
I don't want these guys taking the easy way out. I want to know when the Jets make a tackle, who is the guy making the tackle? Don't let me guess as he's getting up, because if it's number like 56, I can't tell if it's an 8 or a 9 or a 6. I want to
Right.
know who it is. And these guys are like socializing, and it just drives me crazy.
I'll
Like,
tell you one play from our game, and it was a big play that I would have liked to seen the replay, and they never even talked about it. And I asked you about it, was on the kick that Amendola missed. When they showed the replay, it looked like on the replay right at the end that he got knocked over.
oh, I didn't see
And I was
that.
like,
You did mention that. Yeah,
I was like,
he did.
who
Actually, I
hit
did
him?
see that.
Who hit him? And was it a Jet or was it a Texan? And
Yeah.
wouldn't that be running into the kicker? I don't care if he missed it. I mean, if the guy came flying through, and I
Right.
don't care if it was a second or two after the kick, and until the play's over, if he rolls into him, it's still hitting him. And he went down. I don't know. I still don't know who hit him.
Right, right. And just speaking of the extra teams, I just want to mention, and you text me at the very end of the game, you said, "Who the heck is number 34?" Because it was, what's his name, the Hardy. Because
Hardy.
I don't know
They could
why.
have had him pinned at the 1, and he kicked it into the end zone as he tried to save it.
Yeah, he could have had
It's
that
like,
down at the 1 yard line, and I don't know why I see it in all day yesterday colleges. They do the same thing. These guys are looking at the punt returner who's like trying to fake them out of a fair
Yeah.
catch. Look back and pick up where the ball is.
Yeah.
That's the play to do. You'll get more balls inside the 10 and 5 yard line, and they don't do it. It keeps
Not only
bouncing
that,
to
but
the
if the
end zone.
guy,
Braden Mann
you
did
know,
a great job on that play.
a lot of them do that. They'll do a fair catch, but they'll run out to like the 10,
Yes.
and the guy will come up right close to him in case he muffs it. But I'm like, why not look where the ball is?
Look
'Cause
where the
maybe it's
ball
gonna
is.
be- look up and see if he's messing with you.
How many times does he muff it?
Yeah,
Out of
not
10,
very often.
20.
You
It's
know,
so more important.
I
Locate
would
the
even have,
ball.
I think if I were a coach, I'd have one guy who said, if he fair catches, your job is to go behind him and find the ball and see where it's going.
As soon as you
'Cause
see the fair
The
catch,
other guy coming from the other
Right.
side can try and get the muff if he
I-
happens to muff it.
yeah, I agree. As soon as you see the fair catch single, one guy, you turn
Start looking
around,
for the ball.
pick
Yeah.
up the ball, make sure you're wide of the punt returner. You don't want to touch
Yeah.
him, and just follow the ball.
Well,
and
if it's
that's
one of
your
those
job.
punts that is going inside the 10, don't even worry about that. Go to the goal line and turn around and find the
Right.
ball.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, pick up the ball
know?
then. You're right. All right, Ray. So next, I think we have the Eagles, who I think they lost today to the Giants.
Did they really?
Yeah. So
Man. I really can't pick them.
okay, I
I
said
didn't pick them, but I would have, if I was picking a game, I would have picked the Eagles.
I sent you my picks, and
Yeah.
I'm a loser in college. So far, I'm ahead in the pros, but we'll see what happens with the second
I
game.
jinxed my Buckeyes. I picked
Oh
them.
my
I thought
God.
they'd kill Michigan.
And that was my biggest surprise, Ray. And boy, those teams hate each other. I saw a
Oh
video
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's
of them going into the locker room
they
at
got
halftime. Oh my God.
that's not unusual. Well, it's long overdue for Michigan to win one. That was their third win in 21 years. So
Yeah.
they were, and this is, of all years, this is the one that nobody expected really.
You see, we should
Ohio
do.
State's offense was rolling.
Ray, if we're smart, we should go to the next game in Ohio State next year.
Oh,
Get tickets.
yeah, we could go. I don't know if we get in the stadium, but we
That'd be a
could
good
go
ticket.
hang
Yeah.
out down there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
All
fun. I'll tell you
All right,
that.
we're going to close this out for Jets Rewind. We'll be back later in the week. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. For Ray, Clifford, and Marty Shupak, until next time.